Hi, and welcome to the More St. Louis Real Estate Market Update. It is May 29th, 2021, and I'm Dennis Norman, one of the broker owners at More Realtors. And if you'll give me a couple of minutes of your time, I'll bring you up to date on what's happening in the somewhat wild St. Louis real estate market. Okay, first off, here's a chart showing for the entire St. Louis MSA, so all the 17 counties that make up the St. Louis MSA, 9 of which are on the Missouri side of the Mississippi and 8 on the other side, the Illinois side of the Mississippi. And this is a 25-month chart showing the median list price of homes sold as well as the median sales price of those homes sold and the number of homes sold. And like I said, it's for the past 25 months, full months. So even though we're almost to the end of May, this goes through the end of April. And you can see on the chart what's going on here. I might add, too, before I go farther, all of these charts, reports, everything I'm going to show you, this is stuff you won't see anywhere else. It's proprietary material from software that we've developed at More Realtors over several years. It's all based on MLS data. We have the most complete database of the MLS data that there is, going back over 20 years. And we're so committed to making sure that our agents and our clients have the most accurate and relevant market data that we've invested all of this time, energy, and effort to do it. So you're going to see things here you won't see other places. And when you deal with an agent from More, you're going to deal with someone that's, I think, is going to blow you away with their level of knowledge and professionalism because of their commitment to the industry as well as the tools and resources that they have available to them. Oh, and I might add, More is an acronym, and it stands for Masters of Real Estate, and we take it serious. So we want all of our agents to be masters of real estate. So we're very selective on who we associate ourselves with, and the people that the agents and brokers that come into our firm, they're the same way. They're very picky on who they associate with. So, all right, enough of that. Now let's get back to the chart here. So you can see on the chart, the red line's the median selling price, the green line's the median listing price, and so you can see, particularly in the recent months here, you can see the gap between the selling price and the listing price due to so many homes selling for in excess of the list price. And you can see it goes back quite a ways. We have to go back to, it looks like, I don't know, about late 2019, early 2020, before we actually get to where the median list prices are higher than median sales prices, which is how it used to be. But you can see for April, the median price of homes sold was $240. The median price of those homes, the list price of those homes was $225. So, I mean, on median, they were selling for $15,000 more than the asking price. If you go back a year ago, you can see it was $212,766 on the sold price, $212,500 on the list price, so much smaller gap. And then, and if you go back 2 years ago, April 2019, the median sales price was actually just a little under the median list price. So there's no doubt about it that the gap has widened in terms of how much over list price things homes have sold for or are selling for. Now, there's a lot of ways you can look at it, and I'm not going to get too deep in the conversation here today. One could argue that agents are underpricing homes and not pricing them for the current market, which is what is causing those extreme overbids. One could argue that buyers are just out of control and paying crazy prices. I mean, there's lots of approaches to take or ways you could look at it. I'm actually going to do a kind of deeper analysis on that in a new article here coming up, but I'll get that later. So anyway, but let's look at what over time, what these numbers have translated into here. So you can see from, and this is just going April, year to year on April. So from April 2019 to April 20, there was a 10% increase in the median home price of those homes sold. From 2020 to 21, that jumped to 13%. So for that 2-year period, from April 19 to April 21, it's been a 24% increase in the median price of homes sold. Now that is a significant increase, and it's significantly higher than a historic norm. Depending on what time period you look at, historically homes go up maybe 4 or 5, 6% might be on the upper end as a median, our typical year. So this is more typical of about a 4-year increase, but there's more that comes into that. And again, I'm not going to go into that analysis here, but I'm going to tell you about an article in a little bit that does go into a deep analysis there. Now I'm going to show you something else that's exclusive to Moore, is our STL market update report. Now this is on the St. Louis 5-county area. I'm going to kind of zoom in on the market. This is the where most of the business is done, and on the Missouri side in St. Louis, it's St. Louis City, St. Louis County, St. Charles County, Jefferson County, and Franklin County. And this is a really great report because it shows the most recent 12-month period. So in this case, ending the end of April 2021, and then compares it to the prior 12-month period. So it takes out that little seasonality that happens and gives you a real good look at the market. It looks at sales, prices, things like that. We can see on the top line for the most recent 12-month period, homes for the 5-county, or sales for the 5-county area were up about 9.5%. Prices up 10.5%, so just slightly lower than what we saw in the MSA as a whole. Then if you jump down to the third line there, you can see the median, the months of supply of homes. We're at about 0.8 of a month's supply. So in a healthy market, or a typical market, I should say, balanced market, there would be maybe 4 to 5 or 6 months supply of homes. So if 10 homes a month are selling, we'd have 40 to 60 active listings on the market. And here, if 10 homes are selling, there's 8 on the market. So it's definitely a low inventory market still. Now here's something else, and not only is this exclusive, this chart's exclusive to Moore. I don't even see anybody else publishing this type of data. This is a trend report. So this is on a home sales trend report. This goes back to the last 5 years. This again is for that 5-county market area. And it plots, there's a dot for each month. And but instead of getting the normal jumps up and down each month that don't really tell you anything, this plots the prior 12-month period for that 12 months, or for ending that month. So the most recent dot up here, or the one to the right, that's April 2021. So that shows home sales for the 12 months ending there. The prior month would be 12 months ending March. And this is a way to spot a trend. And you can see, obviously, going back to May 2016, the trend started increasing greatly. Now, this is the value and benefit of having stuff like this, because if you're working with a Moore agent who has access to things like this and also understanding of things like this, they can produce this, and not just for a 5-county core market. They can produce this for a school district, high school, ranch-style homes in a particular area. I mean, they can really drill it down to what your market is. And if you saw this trend, that might give you confidence to step up and pay maybe even a bigger price to buy something, realizing that you're catching it on the as prices are rising. So anyway, but you can see here for quite a while the trend was pretty steady with a little increases, small decreases, and then we had a bigger slowdown here over late spring of 2020, COVID, and that dip there. But you can see the steady increase since, and the trend is still looking pretty good. And in spite of the low inventory, you can see what the trend is. I mean, even the recent trend is still upward. Now, you got to remember, this is based on old data, which a lot of real estate is old data because these are closings. So just because there were a lot of closings in April to make this dot be at this point, we have to remember that those sales happened. Some of them happened long before April. If they were new homes, they might have, the actual contract might have been written 8 months before. But a typical deal is about 5 or 6 weeks to closing. So deals that closed at the 1st of April, we're actually reflecting maybe sales activity for late February and definitely in March. So, and deals that closed at late April might have been written in sometime in March or even early April. So it's a little bit stale data, but I'm going to show you in just a little bit how we have data that fixes that. It's the freshest you can get. And so you can see here, just that for the most recent 12-month period ending April, 57,321 homes sold in the 5-county core. It's a big number. Now, talking about those trends, something else we have that, if I mentioned this before, you won't find anywhere else. You can go to localhometrends.com, localhometrends.com, and that's on St. Louis Real. It'll take you to a page on St. Louis Real Estate Search, but there you'll find something that is really the best leading indicator, you will. If you watch anything where they put an economist on to talk about something on the news, a lot of times they talk about leading indicators with the economy. They're looking for things that will tell them where the economy's headed or the stock market or whatever before it gets there. Well, we're the same way on real estate. But like I said before, a lot of the data is dated, so there's not so many places or ways to get this. Well, we created it, and so what this shows is this trends report I have here, and again, your Moore agent can produce them in a variety of ways. But this shows for the 5-county area, for each county actually, new listings that were written in the most recent week. Now we lag behind a few business days on each week because of some technical issues, or not technical, but agents are allowed a time period to get new things entered in the MLS system. So we're trying to make sure when we're reporting the data that everything that should have been reported has been reported. So the most recent week right now would go through May 22nd. We go Wednesday to May 22nd. And so we can look at new listings. So the top chart or table there shows us that there were 946 new listings entered into the system that week. And then we compare that to the prior week. So again, we can kind of see a trend week to week when things are changing. And you can see there were more listings in that most recent week than the prior week, up about 2% for the 5-county area. And if you look over to the right, you can see individual changes, like St. Charles, for example. It was a 6% drop in new listings. And then below that, we also track new contracts written. So not closings, not the solds like what I was reporting before. These are new contracts written. So you can see for the most recent week, 925. The week before, 758. So 22% increase in contracts written. So, and again, then it shows by county. But let me just give you a real quick example of how this is helpful to you, both as a buyer or a seller, and how a Moore agent would use data like this to help guide you, because there's a lot of question in this market. So St. Charles, let's say you're in St. Charles County, for example. St. Charles County, I mean, right there we can see the trend for this week is home sales shot up 50%. There were 207 homes sold in the most recent week, or went under contract, I should say, and yet only 194 new listings. So that tells us that the tight inventory situation just got tighter because more new contracts were written on listings than there were new listings. So that's going to make the number negative. Comparing it to the prior week, we can also see the number of new listings was trending downward and the number of new sales was trending upward. So if we watch this for a couple of weeks, I mean, one week doesn't tell us everything, but if we watch this for a couple of weeks and keep watching it, we'll see that. Also, what your Moore agent will do is it's a combination of these things that tell the whole picture. So these new contracts and new listings will eventually result in closings, which when you look at that trend chart before, so when an agent prepares that trend chart and the trend report, and you kind of start putting all these pieces together, you'll see how one leads to the other. When we see trends on new contracts and new listings, we're going to ultimately see it on the close data too. Now let's go to the next one here. The other thing we can do is, in addition to comparing the most recent week to the prior week, we can compare it to the exact same week a year ago, just to kind of see where we are. We know how last year turned out, and we have, it helps give us a barometer for where we're at now. And you can see that new listings for the most recent week was up 45%, or they were up 45% more than that same week a year ago, and new sales up 10%. So on a positive note, looking at a year ago, the listings are trending better than the sales. So don't want to get too deep there, but it's good data. Again, localhometrends.com is where you can get that at. Now, one thing that a question that is often asked in this market is, have home prices gone too high? Is this another housing bubble? For those of you that have been around a while and paying attention to the real estate market, you may remember the period of 2000, 2006 when home prices, everybody loved real estate. And I describe it as everyone was drunk on real estate, and they couldn't get enough, and no price was too high, and prices just kept going up, and people like me that were data nerds kept going, this can't continue, and it kept continuing for quite a while. But then eventually, around 07, it started, late 06 is when I thought it started looking ugly, but it took quite a while to actually to gel. But then in 2008, there was a bubble, and it burst, and the market crashed, and it was down for 4 solid years. So anyway, a lot of concern. People that remember that are asking that question. And if you really want that answer, and all the you're going to have an opinion. It's my opinion. And I've been in the business 42 years since I was 17. That doesn't make me an expert, but it does give me a lot of experience, done a lot of things the wrong way and the right way in the market, and learn from it. But there's an in-depth article on St. Louis Real Estate News, and the headline kind of gives it away, but why St. Louis is not headed toward another housing market bubble or crash. And there's a lot of data to back it up, and you can go through, and if you read that, you'll see why I am saying that. And I also mentioned St. Louis Real Estate News. It's perhaps St. Louis's longest running real estate blog. And I say perhaps because I believe it is. I haven't found another one out there that's been in existence and continuously has new articles published. But there's really no way of tracking it. But we've had this out since July of 2009. So we're going on 12 years. There's over 2,300 articles in there. And these aren't canned articles or stuff we buy from, that's published all over the place, or is generic stuff that's on the whole real estate market. And we don't have writers in some foreign country writing the stuff for us that don't even know where St. Louis is. Most of these articles have been written by me or if not me, one of our agents. They're about St. Louis and St. Louis real estate, or real estate in St. Louis. So it's a great source to go to, stlouisrealestatenews.com, stlouisrealestatenews.com. Okay, now here's the caveat, and this is the wild card to that article I wrote. That article I wrote a couple of weeks ago. Here's a wild card. Here's a chart. Now, this one's not ours. This is from the St. Louis Fed Reserve. And there's a lot of ways to look at inflation. This is one that a lot of economists like to look at, but it's personal consumption expenditures. And you can see that the most recent week, if you look over there on the right, boy, that, I'm sorry, the most recent month, April 21, it shot up dramatically. Now, you've probably heard this on the news about inflation, but it shot up over it's 3.06, and just a huge increase. And we have to go all the way back to July of 92 to even have, to go above that. And that was 3.08 that month, and that dropped the following month. So this is high. Now, inflation, now we're not going to have an economics lesson, and I don't know that I'm qualified to teach it, but when inflation goes up and we've got the country printing more and more money, that makes prices go up, but unfortunately our money's worth less. So, this alone might justify the increased prices, because if this continues, those higher prices don't really mean as much because there's more money. But we'll see. This is just a caveat I want to throw out there. Mortgage interest rates. Hear a lot of talk about that lately. They're expected to go up, but really not that terrible. If you're an old veteran like me of the business, I remember 18% mortgage rates, and not very nicely either, or fondly. But the most recent week, 30-year fixed rate mortgages, the average cross country and Freddie Mac survey was 2.95%, so under 3% still. This is like giveaway rates. And if we go back to the recent peak was March 25th, they peaked at 3.17. That was the highest we've seen in a little while. And the lowest we've seen in a little while was December, actually in a long time, I think, was December 24th, 2020, Christmas present for 2020. It was 2.66. So, even at 2.95, it's just a 0.3% above where it was at the dip on that 1 week right before Christmas. So, they're not doing bad. Now, I don't know that I would wait forever to see what they're going to do, but because likely it's going to be higher. Okay, and when you're searching for homes to to buy, or if you're thinking of selling, you want to use St. Louis's best home search site, stlouisrealestatesearch.com, stlouisrealestatesearch.com. And I might add, this is the official St. Louis Real Estate Search. And yep, you'll see the R there. That's because we've got a registered trademark for St. Louis Real Estate Search. This is the official site. It's been the St. Louis Real Estate Search site for so long that we were able to get the trademark because that's what it is. Also, we have real agents right here in St. Louis ready to help you. There's an 800 number at the top, 844 MLS site, and it won't be answered by a call center and who knows where. And it also is not going to go through a call center person to an agent that's paying for leads that might, who knows what their skill set is, but they're writing checks. No, this call is going to be answered by either one of our brokers or one of our agents at More Realtors. And so you're going to get a real live licensed professional on the other side of the phone that's in St. Louis and that can show you a house virtually, show you a house in person, get you all the info, whatever. Also, our site offers transparency. You may have seen in the news lately over the past several months or year, there's been a couple of massive lawsuits against the National Association of Realtors, Department of Justice investigation. A lot of these things center over a lack of transparency, alleged lack of transparency in the business, and as well as some other things that are not consumer friendly. We are at More, we are huge believers in transparency, in educating consumers so that home buyers, investors, sellers can make smart decisions. And so we have full transparency on our site. If you go to our sites and look at any listing, you'll see what commission is being offered to a buyer's agent. And so you'll know what that agent representing you is being paid by the seller, which is indirectly by you because you're paying the price. But and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're dealing with a More agent, I think you'll agree when you look at the level of service you get and the professionalism and the knowledge and the guidance that they're well worth it. But what we're hoping it comes of this transparency is that home buyers will be a lot more particular about the agent they choose to represent them, because there's a lot of folks out there that somehow think the buyer's agent doesn't cost them anything. And so, let's face it, if you're giving me something for free, I'm not going to be as picky. Give me a cup of coffee if it's free. If it's bad, it's free. If I paid, $7 for a cup of coffee, I'm going to be much more particular about the coffee I get. Well, same thing here. We want you to know you are paying for the buyer's agent. One way or the other, you're paying for it, and we want to make sure you think it's a good value. And so you pick right, you pick a good agent, and one that's got the knowledge and expertise and experience and is, does their business honestly and ethically and understands fiduciary obligation. I mean, a buyer's agent has a legal fiduciary obligation to represent you. A listing agent has a legal fiduciary obligation to represent the seller. We take that very serious here. Our agents take it very serious too. So anyway, all about transparency. There you go. And we're More Realtors, so we can help you. There's phone number 833-383-MORE, 833-383-MORE. Visit us at morerealtors.com or, again, stlouisrealestatesearch.com. And until next time, thank you. God bless you. Have a great